Mine's Glenn, Glen.
Last name is Fifield.
Fifield, Fifield.
State please.
You can get my spelling from Bob. He's got it.
Sergeant.
Sergeant, yes. All right.
Tim is the chief of
Tim is chief of Chesterton, yes. All right. And as soon as he gets all set up, how much time do you need, you think?
A few minutes.
Just a couple minutes? All right, that's fine.
Got a mic up there too.
You're fine.
Is it okay to move these to the top of the podium?
No, they got them all set up.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Just need a little spot for notes.
We need some room for. Sorry to do this to you guys, but we're gonna have to.
Only if you promise to talk loud.
What's that?
Only if you promise to talk loud.
You promise? Yeah.
Is that good?
Thank you.
You want to do it with them? Sound check with them there. Is that good? 1, 2, 3, 4. Check 1, 2, 3, 4. All good? All right. We'll be in just a couple minutes. And Sergeant, by my rank, I'm the public information officer for the Indiana State Police. So you know. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. I think he finally retired from the hospital. Yeah, I think he was at. I should set this here. I'll spill it. I don't want to advertise for free. All right, we'll be right in.
The other great last line is from Maltese Falcon.
Oh, you know, I was just seeing
When the officer said,
All right, good morning. My name is Sergeant Glenn Fifield, the Public Information Officer for the Indiana State Police Lowell Post. We're here this morning for the officer-involved shooting that occurred this morning at approximately 8 o'clock. So I'm going to give some brief background, what we can disclose right now, and there's a lot of things that we can't. I understand you folks are going to have a lot of questions, and as we do too, our investigators have the same questions. So there's a lot of things that we're not going to be able to answer this morning. So bear with us. We'll answer what we can. So this morning at approximately 8 o'clock, the Chesterton Police Department responded to the Hilton Garden Inn located at 501 Gateway Boulevard, which is near the intersection of State Road 49 and the Indiana Toll Road. The call was in reference to a suspicious male that had been at the hotel. Two officers arrived on scene and confronted the subject. And during that interaction, there was an exchange of gunfire between the suspect and the officers. One officer did sustain a gunshot injury. He was transported to a hospital in Illinois where he received treatment. And Chief will give you an update on his condition. That's about all I can go into as far as that. We were requested by Chesterton Police Department to investigate it. The identity of the deceased right now is pending an autopsy by the coroner's office. That information will be given out by the coroner once that autopsy has been completed. Like I said, this is an active investigation. There's a lot of questions that we have, that the investigators have. We have crime scene techs on scene now. They're going to be working on it over the next several hours. So I understand you're going to have a lot of questions. We'll take those once the chief has an opportunity to speak. All right, Chief Richardson.
Thank you, Sergeant Fifield. Good morning, and thank you, media, for coming to the Chesterton Police Department today. Unfortunately, I have to tell you about an officer-involved shooting that occurred this morning around 8 a.m., where one of our officers was unfortunately shot and injured. First and foremost, my main concern right now is our officer, and I am happy to be able to tell you that he did receive treatment, is receiving treatment in an Illinois hospital, and his prognosis looks good. That's a good thing, to stand in front of a podium and tell the media and the public that our officer, in all appearances right now, looks like everything's going to work out okay for him. I won't go into the extent of his wounds, where he was wounded at. Obviously, like Sergeant Fifield said, I have as many questions as you all have, as the Indiana State Police has. It was a rapidly evolving situation at the hotel this morning, where unfortunately our officers had to exchange in gunfire with the suspect. So we all have lots of questions. That's why I asked for the Indiana State Police to assist us on this. I know their professionalism of their investigative division, and they will at some point in time give me a full report, which I will then forward to, or Indiana State Police will then forward to the prosecutor's office. I will say that the Chesterton Police Department understands that our community is deeply shaken about a shooting that occurred in our jurisdiction this morning, and one of our officers being shot and injured. Our thoughts are with the officer and his family. They are most important to us right now. I have requested, as you know, the Indiana State Police to come in for an independent investigation of this incident, and the Chesterton Police Department, as in every other investigation, will cooperate fully with the Indiana State Police. I'd have a statement that I would like to provide to our community post this event this morning. Our department stands united in our commitment to protecting our community. What often goes unseen is our officers putting their lives on the line for our community, and two of our officers did just that this morning. I want to thank you, and especially this community, the Duneland community, the Chesterton community, for their continued support. I will also ask for your patience, because this is going to take a week or two for all these events that transpired this morning to play out. And I entrust the Indiana State Police to do that for us, and they will give us more information as they're prepared to do that in the future. I want to thank all the brave officers that came to our aid this morning from various departments, and I hope I don't miss anyone. If I do, I apologize. the Porter Police Department, the Portage Police Department, the Valparaiso Police Department, the Porter County Sheriff's Office, Burns Harbor Police Department, Ogden Dunes Police Department, and of course the Indiana State Police and their crime scene investigators and our investigative team who are on scene now. As I said earlier, this department's primary concern is our officer that was injured today. I ask for prayers and support from the community for his full recovery. With that, I understand that Sergeant Fifield will take some questions. Some he may answer, some I may answer. Just be prepared. There's going to be a lot of we don't know right now, and that will come out obviously in the next week or two, and we will be fully transparent with this investigation. I appreciate you all being here.
Are you naming the officer and where was he injured?
We are not naming the officer right now, which is typical. That will probably come out sometime next week. We'll identify the officers, and obviously they need time to reflect on this. They need their privacy, so now is not the right time to name the officers. But the public deserves to know who those officers are, and we will give that information next week or when we get advice from the Indiana State Police.
Describe the nature of his wounds.
I cannot do that right now, no, sir.
How old is the officer?
The officer is 33 years old, and he has been with the Chesterton Police Department for about 5 years. He is a patrol officer, and he mainly works the day shift.
And how old is the man who was shot and killed?
We don't have his identification made yet. That'll be done by the coroner's office, and once identification has been made, that individual's next of kin notified, that will be released by them.
Was he staying at the Hilton Garden, and also who made the call to authorities about suspicious activity?
To my knowledge, that'll be part of the investigation to see where he came from, if he was staying there, if he's a local resident. I don't know. Like I said, I do not know who he is right now. I'm talking to you right now. I don't know who he is. All I know is that he was a white male, and he's now deceased. Where he's from, where he was staying, I don't know. I can confirm that the hotel is the one that called the Chesterton Police Department this morning about the suspicious nature of him being there.
Well, when you say suspicious nature, please describe a little bit of what makes this person suspicious.
I don't know the details. That's part of what our investigators will find out, why they were called there. Obviously, something brought his attention to their attention, and the way he was acting. And obviously, something was going on for there to be a confrontation and exchange of gunfire between him and the officers.
Happened in the parking lot, or did it start in the lobby, or?
I'm not sure where it started. That's a great question, and I'm sure our investigators will have that, and that'll be part of the investigation. Yes,
How long has it
Bob.
been
Bob.
since there's been an officer involved shooting in Chesterton?
When was the last one?
History of that?
You know, forgive me that I honestly can't answer that question. I've only been chief here for, less than 4 years. Nothing, why I've been here, and I don't know of any in the recent decade prior to me taking over as chief. So it's possible never, or if it was a long time ago. It's certainly not within the past decade or so.
Is it suspected that he shot himself? Because that's been kind of put out
Well, like
there.
I mentioned,
Put out there on Facebook
Right.
and stuff, so we kind of need.
some questions were asked, obviously. What I will tell anybody, and especially you folks, you do this every day, do not rely on anything you see on social media. That's why these gentlemen are here, to give us the accurate facts, because that's what we all want, right? We don't want to put out false information. I know there's all kinds of speculation on Facebook. I may read it tonight, but right now that speculation is irrelevant to me.
Was his weapon recovered from the scene?
Yeah, there was an exchange of gunfire, so yes, there was a weapon recovered, absolutely.
I have some questions.
yes.
The other officer who was not injured, are they on administrative leave with or without pay?
Great question, and I was going to cover that. I'm glad you asked that. As typical with every police department, our policy states any officers that are involved in an officer-involved shooting will be placed on paid administrative leave. That will be the instance here as well. The 2 officers involved today will be placed on paid administrative leave. And while we're talking about these officers, I just want to comment of their bravery. It's not every day you come to work and you get involved in an officer-involved shooting. The bravery of these officers for protecting our community, protecting what might have been going on in that hotel, the fine men and women of the Chester Police Department, I am so proud of them right now for the way they acted today. And we're all just humans, and we get up and we put these uniforms on, just like you put on your suits to come to work. We are no different than anybody else. But I do want to say how proud I am of this department. and how proud I am of regional law enforcement who came to our aid without us even having to make a phone call. With the Indiana State Police calling me and saying, Chief, we're on the way, because they already know I'm calling. I've worked with these gentlemen for almost 32 years. It's just phenomenal. So with that, I will refer to Sergeant Fifield. Any other questions you may have?
Right here. Yes, sir. Oh, all right, let me go right here. Yes.
Is it possible to say at this point, A, who fired first, and B, how many shots were fired?
No, that's all part of the investigation. That would be, yeah, they'll determine that. Yeah.
And you can't answer the question about whether the guy shot himself or whether it was the shots fired by the officer.
No, absolutely not. That'd be part of the autopsy. That's to determine how he died. Yes, your question.
Okay, he asked my question.
Okay,
You
perfect.
guys are leading the investigation, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. The Indiana State Police Criminal Investigations Division at the Lowell Post, we'll be heading that up. There's no timetable on when it'll be complete. We won't interview the officers for several sleep cycles. That's just standard practice in officer-involved shootings. Once we're fact gatherers, information gatherers, so we're not going to, we don't determine, justified, not justified, charges, whatever. We find the facts and we present that to the prosecutor's office to review, and the Porter County Prosecutor's Office will determine that. So the review process, takes some time, and obviously this is a large scene, so it's going to take some time to put all those facts together and get those reports generated for the prosecutor.
How long do you expect officers to be on scene over there, and should we expect anything else from either department today?
Yeah, so as soon as our CSI, our crime scene investigators, complete it, they'll clear that scene. To put a time frame on it, I can't. They don't rush, I can tell you that. So whatever time it takes to accurately and thoroughly complete that scene is what they're going to process. Is the rate they're going to process it at. As far as any further updates, I don't plan on our department, doing anything down the road. It would strictly come from the prosecutor's office after today. Now, Chief Richardson, I'm sure, will update you all on the identification, as he said he would, the identification of the officers once that's appropriate. But any further today, I don't anticipate anything.
Nor do I.
Yeah.
They were male officers, is that correct, both of them?
They were male officers.
Both of them.
Mhm.
And this guy, was he from outside of the area?
We don't know. Like I said, I don't know his identification. I've said that several times. We don't know.
Or if he was checked in.
No, I don't know.
Or was just
Yeah.
hanging out outside in the lot, or?
I don't know. That's part of the investigation. We interview a lot of witnesses to find out what's going on and why he was there. Yes.
Just very quickly, you mentioned that the officer that's injured was taken to the Illinois hospital.
Mm.
Can you confirm if it was Christ Hospital?
I don't believe the chief wants to go into that just for his personal privacy reasons. Yeah.
And then just as a follow-up, the other officer, I know you said that the injured officer has been with Chesterton for 5 years. The officer's not injured. Has he been with the department for a long time?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, I did not look at his personnel file, forgive me, but he's been with the department at least 25 years, and maybe even a few more years than that. He's a veteran officer for certain, a very talented veteran officer.
And you mentioned
We'll take two more questions and
You mentioned Illinois Hospital. Are they at Christ?
We'd rather not disclose that publicly right now.
Sorry. was that-
he stepped out. We just answered that. Yeah, we're not going to. First privacy reasons.
You know, if I could ask for a favor, I know we had a wide open crime scene, and I saw the helicopters above. If I could just ask that the media use some grace in whatever you choose to post with the story, because somewhere there's a family of the deceased out there, and obviously you are the professionals. I trust you to do a great job. You do a great job every day. But if we could consider some grace about what's posted. I know some media was out there maybe earlier than the rest of you that may have graphic photographs, and I'd rather not see them in a news story if possible. But again, I entrust you to do the job as professionally as you do every day.
You can't show that
'Cause,
anymore.
yeah,
so-
Thank you.
well, some other folks do, and I know you guys are all professional, but other folks do, and I think he's asking that to the public that may have, that were driving by, or people at the gas station, to use some grace and empathy for the deceased.
From like the Speedway and from likely probably from the monitoring cameras from Hilton or the
I'm sure they're gonna. That's what our crime scene people do is they canvass an area and get evidence and video from anybody and everybody. Yeah, we don't limit our focus as to where we obtain evidence. Okay, that's it. All right. Thank you very much. What's that?
You're taking off right here?
Yeah. Yeah.
How soon?
Don't know. As soon as I sell my house.
Oh, really? What are you doing down there?